You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Y&R fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I have got your early edition spoilers for the week of Monday, October 30th, all the way through Friday, November 3rd. There is a lot to unpack, a lot of family intrigue. A lot of it centers around Victor's scheming and Tucker's scheming. Hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe so you don't miss any of our Y&R updates, spoilers, news, and more. Real quick, before I dig into the 2-week spoilers, I'm going to run down Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with you just to give you context of where we're going to be as we dive into these spoilers next week. So on Wednesday, the 25th, the day you're probably listening to this, Victor has to confess because Nick confronts him. He knew what that snake meant. It was something from this childhood story that Nick used to have read to him by his father. Nicky's there for this whole thing, and Nicky pressures Victor to come clean. He does, but Victor tells Nick he wants him to keep it zipped. He does not want him to warn anybody. He's still testing Adam and Victoria and Nate. And Nick says Victoria's going to be really mad at you if she figures it out. But it looks like for now, at least, he's not going to tell his siblings. And of course, we know he wouldn't tell Adam anyway. So Christine has a deeper conversation with Dany over at Crimson Lights. She is not too happy that he is willing to believe that Phyllis is going to be a new person. And Cricket reminds him, you know, Phyllis has been saying that she's a changed person for 2 decades now, and it's never taken. She also admits to him that her marriage is over. She's getting a divorce. And there was a whole bunch of back and forth, but the bottom line is she says Paul just doesn't love her anymore. And I want to say boo hiss to that. That really bothers me. And they're doing it because they're not ever, as far as we know, bringing Doug Davidson back as Paul Williams. He is like permanently off the show. So they're just throwing his character under the bus. I didn't like that at all. It really kind of bothered me. But I'm not in charge, you know? Okay, Ashley Abbott is back in Genoa City on Wednesday. Diane finds her in the living room, and lo and behold, the ladies are playing really nice. Now that Diane saved her life, she's decided that she's not going to hate on her. They play nice, they have coffee, and they talk about Tucker's schemes and how he is targeting the family. We also have Kyle agreeing to work with Audra and Tucker. He does this when he's alone with Audra, and it's so clear she's honey trapping him. I mean, they literally got out of bed and then she talks him into it and then they fall back in bed. And then Tucker shows up later, sees the rumpled sheets, wants to know the update. And it looks like now he wants to test Kyle to see if he's really with them. But it definitely seems like they are, because when Kyle shows up at the Abbott mansion and finds Ashley, and by then Billy and Jack are back there, he gets really mad at his mom when they're basically saying that he can do better than Audra. And he's like, I would think that you would think twice about judging people. It was very testy. Anyway, so Jack gave Tucker back his bug to let him know that he found it, and he says he's done playing games with him. Clearly, Tucker's not done. And Ashley lets Billy and Tucker know that she wants to join forces with them to fight. I hope they don't say too much in front of Kyle, because it sounds like Kyle is going to be reporting back to them. So this is very interesting. All right, Thursday the 26th, Victor and Nicky disagree. That's nothing new. They are clearly in disagreement over him testing the kids. And Nick goes to talk to Sharon, and he's going to tell her all the crap that Victor is pulling. He's furious, and we do know that very soon there is a huge confrontation coming between Nick and Adam, because it was the subject of this week's promo. So we have an undated spoiler, and I feel like it may happen on Thursday just because we know the fight's coming before the end of the week. So the undated spoiler is that Adam and Sally have sex. So I believe that they have sex before the fight, just because of the way the spoilers run. So Adam runs into Sally at the GCAC. She's not happy. She's having a rough day and they kind of bicker. He follows her upstairs to the hallway and they end up in his room talking, and he tells her how worried he is about his dad, and then she hugs him to comfort him, and then they kiss, and they wind up in bed. So I feel like while Nick is over with Sharon, that's when Adam and Sally are going to hook up, because we know that is definitely happening this week. Then Friday, October 27th, Victor decides that's the day he's going to test Nate Hastings, which is kind of interesting. And Victoria makes a hard decision that day, and I wonder if that is to betray her father or call a doctor. I don't know. We know Adam is already consulting a doctor because he's legitimately worried. I don't see how them being legitimately worried for Victor is them failing the test. Them trying to do something to him, that would be failing the test. Also on Friday, Adam decides to take care of something himself. So I don't know if that's supposed to be the spoiler that ties to their brawl, because the brothers are both in her GCAC room. They are fighting. Adam is provoking him, saying, you know, Sally still wants me. And then Nick throws him down, and then Adam pins Nick to the door, and he's about to punch him in his smug face. And then Nick basically says, Sally, you choose right now. And then Adam actually stops mid-punch and is like, yeah, good idea. So I do wonder if she's going to tell them, you don't get to tell me when to choose. All right. For the week of the 30th through the 3rd, we have Victor sending a powerful message. This, of course, is again back to this test and him pushing everybody to the edge. I'm really wondering if Nick is going to stay quiet, especially if Adam chooses Sally. I don't know. That just might send Nick into some kind of diabolical tailspin where he's just done with people named, you know, Victor Newman, because he's also his namesake. Adam is. Okay. Jack struggles with Kyle. And this is interesting because Kyle is now, he heard his dad saying that Kyle shouldn't get to jump to the top. He should have to work his way from the bottom. And I think that's kind of a little ridiculous because Kyle has been in like upper C-level management. Sending him to the mailroom because you think he's entitled is like punishing him. So I do see Kyle's frustrations, but working with Tucker doesn't seem like a good idea. But maybe Kyle thinks that he and Audra can do an end run around Tucker and they'll take over Jabot and cut Tucker out. Maybe that's what he has in mind, because I can't imagine installing Tucker there. So Jack and Kyle are going to have words next week, and Devon is going to confront Tucker. It seems like they're on a minimum one confrontation a week between them, and it's probably not a good idea. And Billy questions Ashley's loyalty. Ashley is willing to get closer to Tucker to try and find out what he's doing. That's what she's talking about. But the problem is with Kyle uniting with Audra and Tucker, that she will probably be talking about this in front of him. And if Kyle tells Tucker, then he can twist this whole thing and feed her false info. I think that Billy is wrong to question Ashley's loyalty. I do think she is definitely Team Abbott and not Team McCall. I don't think she's acting as a spy. But I understand Billy's paranoia because there's just so much sketchy stuff going on. All right, that is all of the early edition spoilers we have. We'll have a full roster of weekly spoilers later this week for you. We'll have 2-week spoilers, casting news, everything you need to know for all the action coming on Y&R. If you haven't subscribed, please click that. If you enjoyed this, click a like. We love getting that positive feedback. And definitely drop your comments on what you're excited to see. Do you think that Ashley is loyal to the Abbotts? I think she is, but you guys might disagree, and I love to read your comments. And do you think that Kyle is he really doing this? Is he really betraying the family? I mean, who does he think he is? You know, a Newman? Come on. All right. That's everything. Thanks for talking soaps with me here every day. This has been Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.